Well, hello, and welcome to that thing we like to call Curlis Mania, where we talk all things pop, rock, and prog. Today, I am very excited to welcome back to the channel. It's been way too long since I've had him on, Mr. Grant Arthur. How are you, Grant?
Hey, cool. Tom, nice to see you. I'm top notch. What can I say?
I mean,
Still alive. I'm still alive, so that's half the battle.
that's good. That's good. And everyone know, I mean, people, you know, probably know you from, your own channel, Grant's Rock Warehouse. You're on Sea of Tranquility all the time now. He's on YouTube all the time. So you can't,
Probably more than I should be.
yeah. Well, it's pretty awesome. I mean, you're doing a great
Well,
job.
thank you. I appreciate it.
Channel's killing it. So,
Thank
so
you.
I'm really happy to have him back. It's been way too long, and we were talking about this like, dude, we need to do this again. So happy to be doing this again. And we are talking about some great music tonight. We are talking about some solo Aerosmith, which I don't know how we stumbled on this topic, but we got on Joe Perry and we started talking about the Joe Perry project. I was like, oh, that would be a good one. Let's do
Well,
Joe.
probably because in the past, Tom, I've mentioned this as the first Joe Perry album, the Project album is my favorite Aerosmith album. And then when I say that, the Aerosmith people go,
What are you
"Hmm?"
talking about? Yeah.
But I do love this record. So when you mentioned it, or however it popped up, of
Hmm.
course I'm going to go, when? Let's
Yeah.
talk Joe Perry because I love this. I love these records.
Yeah, it's so funny because I don't. I always talk about how these things, how they come up, and you never know. I always forget, like, how did we get on this topic? But somehow we stumbled on it, and as soon as Joe Perry project came up, you were like, yes, let's do that. That's it.
Oh yeah, I
So
love it.
yeah. So I have to ask. This is how I've been starting
Hmm.
these episodes these
Hmm.
days. Is when do you remember the first time you heard about
Hmm.
or heard either heard a song or heard the band or heard about the album, or when was the
Yeah.
first time? Do you remember?
When the first Joe Perry Project album, Let the Music Do the Talking, came out, my buddy was a big Aerosmith fan. I was over at his house and we were just playing records and he played this record. And it didn't really hit me right at the beginning. But man, over repeated listenings, the brilliance of this album just totally overwhelmed me. I could listen, Tom, I could listen to, you're gonna laugh, but I could listen to this album over and over and never get tired of it.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Yes.
it checks every box that I want to hear. I mean, for one, it's a Jack Douglas production.
Right.
Two,
Yep.
Joe Perry, his guitar playing on this record is spectacular.
Oh yeah.
The songs are all good. They're catchy. It's all well produced. I can't think of any. I mean, I'm looking at the track listing, and I think, a lot of people may know this record because on Done with Mirrors, they took Let the Music Do the Talking and they
Redid
did
it.
the
Yeah.
Aerosmith version.
Right.
But, you may think that that's the best song in the record, but man, you're looking through Discount Dogs, Shooting Star, uh, Break Song. Holy crap, it's just
Yeah.
like phenomenal. I like
Yeah.
the whole thing, and I think it gets better as it goes.
I actually like the Let the Music Do the Talking version better on this.
Yeah, I do too.
I like it better on this album than I do the Aerosmith version, which is some people might say blasphemous, but I think it is. But we are here to talk about, I didn't even said it yet. We're here to talk about the Joe Perry Project, two albums, the first two records, Let the Music Do the Talking, which we were
Right.
just talking about, and I've got the Rock and Rolls Again, which Grant is holding up. I
Backwards.
couldn't find my CD
There
copy.
you
Yeah.
go.
So there you go.
There you go.
Um, so the first two records by the Joe Perry Project. Um, and so I'm just gonna give a quick rundown of the Joe Perry project,
Hmm.
Let the Music Do the Talking, which is the first album. It was released March 1980 on Columbia, produced, as you mentioned, by Jack Douglas and Joe Perry, recorded at the Hit Factory in New York City. It was recorded from December 79 to January 1980. Apparently worked up very quickly, like done very fast. Couple weeks. Um, Columbia apparently was hesitant to give him a solo deal, but he said he would knock it out very quickly and cheaply. So they said, okay. And he'd told them, hey, I left Aerosmith. So, and I'm ready to make another album.
Mhm.
And I will put a band together and I'll do it quickly. And they said, okay. Um, Apparently there's a couple of tracks that were like sort of sitting around and were possibly knocked around with Aerosmith. One of them was Life at a Glance. I think it was the last two songs, Life at a Glance and Ready on the Firing Line were the two that were he had been riffs that had been kind of around for a while. The band is Ralph Morman on vocals, who had been in a local Boston band. David Hull on bass and Ronnie Stewart on drums. Apparently, these are all local Boston guys. Um, as you mentioned, the title track was redone by Aerosmith for the reunion LP done with Mirrors. So there you go. Yeah, so and this is, I mean, this album, should we dig into the Aeros a little bit of the Aerosmith history, or do we just want to keep it loose? I don't care. We could talk a little bit
I
about
think probably most people probably know about
they
that, the
probably know.
Aerosmith history, but they don't know a whole lot about Joe Perry project. And that's what this is why I also like to talk about this, because who's really talking Joe Perry? Right,
Nobody.
Tom? Nobody.
Nobody.
So there you go.
Nobody. So yeah, but this album, if you don't have, I think both of these albums are worthy. If you don't have either of these, if you're an Aerosmith fan and you don't own either of these albums, you should go get them. That's just, I'm going to say
Yeah.
that right now.
Yeah, I would say, yeah, I think we can easily say that. Now, the
Mhm.
third one, which we're not talking about, you probably could just hold off on that one
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
it's very commercial, very 80s sounding.
Yeah.
Not like these where these sound very organic. To these sound well, this I got to get my hands right. This
Right.
sounds very organic. You can tell that they are capturing lightning in a bottle. You can tell it was recorded quickly. They're not worried about, there's not a lot of fine tuning. It's just the band playing great songs and you can hear the energy, you know.
Yes.
You can
Yes.
hear the energy in the room. And it just feels like when I listen to this record, it's like Joe Perry is unleashed. It's like, whew, I'm out of Aerosmith. I'm free to do
I'm
something.
free. Yes,
And
exactly.
you can tell he's been saving up some of these tunes because there's some really great songs here.
Yeah.
And I could see that. I could see that. I mean, as far as, the whole Aeros, what was it? Night in the Ruts.
Night in the Ruts. Yeah. Yep.
Now, when that came out, the critics really didn't give two squats about it, so to speak. Uh, I think it's aged rather well. I think some people like that record a lot better than I think when it first came out.
Right.
But
Right.
there was a lot of issues with the band, a lot of internal struggles. They weren't getting along, and Joe was done. See ya. I'm
Yeah.
out of here.
Yeah, well,
Um,
he said in his book, I read the book, and he said something about how he and Brad, he thought that his some had done some of their best work on Night in the Ruts, just as far as like the two guitar thing.
mhm,
He felt like they were really doing really like some great stuff. And then Steven was like MIA, like he couldn't, he was like on drugs and he took forever to like show up at the studio. And he
mhm,
said he was getting more and more frustrated with the situation. So, and then because Steven was taking forever, and then he said the whole management thing were like, where's all the money? The usual thing, where's all the money? Where did it all go? And so he was just
mhm.
frustrated with all those things. And then he finally said, I'm out of here. And he left.
Yeah, I can't
So,
blame him.
yeah. Yep.
If he
So,
hadn't have left, we might not have had this. And you might be thinking, "Oh, Greg, come on, is it really that good?"
ooh,
Swear to
it
God,
is.
I love this record.
It's good. So let's get into it. Like,
Yeah,
what do you think? This title track is like, come on. It's awesome.
it's probably the best known song, even though it's not my favorite. But I
Right.
think it's a good way to open it. It's very straightforward, really riff driven. You know,
Yeah.
Joe Perry, and I already mentioned this because I'm like a big Joe Perry fanboy, not an Aerosmith fanboy, but
Right.
I loved to listen to him play guitar.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
that's what when I look at these records, these are really guitar albums, you know,
Yeah.
because if you like what he does, you like his riffs, you like his sound, it's all over it. It's all Joe Perry. But I think Let the Music Do the Talking is a good way to start this out, even though I don't think it's the best thing on the record.
I
But
love it. I think it's a awesome opener. I love
mhm,
that track. And then Conflict of Interest is like another great track.
yeah, I
What do you
mean,
think of
Joe
that?
Perry again,
Yeah.
right at center stage,
Yep.
playing the solos, very aggressive, very melodic.
Mhm.
Wonderful. I
I think he's singing this track too, isn't he singing
I
Conflict?
don't
Like he
know.
sings a couple of songs on the record. I can't
Maybe.
remember. I think it's him because it doesn't sound like
Mm,
Ralph. Like Ralph's got that really husky, sort of husky,
I guess
soulful.
it could be Joe.
I think it might be Joe singing. I don't
I
know.
was thinking that, but the liner notes to this are questionable.
Yeah,
So, but it
yeah.
could be possibly be Joe. But
I think Joe's
again,
singing that, I think,
if
but
that's Joe, I don't have a problem.
right, right. It's a good song. I really think it's a great, as long as your interests don't conflict with mine. I just think it's a really good hook. And the Discount Dogs you were mentioning, you liked a lot.
Now we're really hitting
What a
the
riff.
albums for,
What a riff.
well, it's kind of punk rock influence. There is like, I don't think that there's so much a new wave feel, but some of this record, I would say there's a little bit of a punk, sprinkling a little punk on top. And this is one of those. So it kind of reflects what was going on at the time. But again, excellent riff, excellent playing from the band. I love it. And
Yeah.
then one of my favorite tracks on the record.
Yeah, no, it's great. And like you said, he definitely was going. He said he wanted the punk urgency and energy. He was kind of going for like, so in other words, I'm going to do my thing,
Well,
but
it feels like
yeah.
that. I
Yeah.
mean, if you listen, think about the first Ramones album. I mean, it kind of has that kind of feel. It's just very intimate. Let's just do it. Keep
Yeah.
it raw, keep it pure. And that's how I look at this record, just raw and pure.
Oh,
Anyway.
it definitely is. I mean, like you said, it's captured like Jack Douglas did a great job as usual, right? He
Hmm.
knows what he's doing. He did a great job producing it too. Shooting Star and Break Song. I mean, Shooting Star is another great track, really good track. I mean, side one is very solid.
It's very solid.
Yeah.
Catchy chorus.
Hmm.
The thing is, uh, one people really never really think about it, but Joe wrote all these songs pretty much. I mean, or co-wrote them, but I'm sure he did all the music here.
Yeah.
And his sense of melody and just the way he can set up these songs. Now, could it be Jack Douglas arranging? Possibly, but
Right.
he really does have a flair for melody and his guitar playing. I keep going on about that damn guitar.
Yeah.
Really, his solos almost feel like when you listen to him, it's almost like he could just like take off. It's just like he's just letting it go. And it's not like he's doing a lot of takes. I don't think that this band sounds like they're doing many takes. It's like, well, man, we captured that. That sounds great. But it's just got that energy that I just love. So,
Yeah.
Shooting Star, great track, catchy chorus, wonderful.
Yeah, and I think you're right. I think you're on target. I think that he is doing most of the music here. I mean, he's
Right.
driving it. He's driving it and creating these tracks, and then
Hmm.
he's just asking Ralph to sing over it. I think that's
I
probably what's
think.
happening, you
I
know?
mean, a lot of it, God, I should have put my glasses on, but yeah, I think that there's a collaboration, but it's obvious Joe Perry writing the music on here, I think.
Yeah, yeah. And then he ends with an instrumental break song, which is kind of like I don't know. He said he's kind of back to his roots kind of vibe, like sort of bluesy. It almost sounds like something Stevie Ray Vaughan would do or something.
Kind of, this is yet another one of my favorite tracks on it because of the energy. For one, it's a great riff,
Yes.
great riff. And the two solos that Joe does in it, phenomenal.
Just
And
rips. He just
yeah,
rips.
I
Yeah.
could just see Joe just doing an instrumental record.
Yeah.
God,
Yeah.
if I had more of break song, what I don't know what I would do, but
Yeah.
yeah, you don't miss any vocals here. You just get to hear the band. You get to hear them play. They must be playing live in the studio because it does have that feel.
That
I
sounds
don't know, but it does.
yeah. Yeah.
One of my all-time favorite instrumental tracks. Like I said, I love this record. I
Yeah.
wish I could find something to complain about. I can't.
And
What? Yeah.
it doesn't outstay its welcome. It's kind of quick,
No.
it's kind of fast. It's just like you said,
Mhm.
they rip into a couple solos and then it's done. And excellent, like great playing on there. I agree with you.
Yep.
And then side two, Rockin' Train starts out with a what do you think of that?
Killer.
Yeah,
Another
great,
one of
great.
my all-time favorite tracks. Again,
Yep.
let's look at this. Look at the sequencing on this record. You start out with Let the Music Do the Talking. great. You end side two with Break Song,
Mhm.
starting out very strong, start ending very strong. You
Yeah.
listen to the Break Song and you're going, I can hardly wait to turn over this record to hear side two. And then you start out with Rockin' Train.
Not disappointing. It's not
Not
disappointing.
disappointed.
No.
This record rocks, is it's what I'm gonna say. It
Yeah. Yeah.
rocks hard.
Is that Rocket Train is do 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 do? Is that
No,
right?
that's Break Song.
Oh, that's Break Song. Sorry. Sorry. I got the wrong track. Sorry.
No, but Rock and Train, great.
Yeah.
It's great riff, great I keep repeating myself. Look
Yeah.
at what I said on the second song. This applies to this song as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. And then Mist
great,
is Rising actually is kind of a little bit of a left turn, right? It's a
little bit, yeah.
little more moody, maybe.
Hmm.
But
But that's
still a great,
fine.
still another cool riff, very like almost Jimmy Page-ish, like that.
Very Jimmy Page.
It's like a very Zeppelin-y kind of vibe.
But these guys love that stuff. Yardbird, Zeppelin.
Yeah.
It's almost you can hear you can hear Joe's influences.
Hmm.
Obviously, Jimmy Page was an influence. At least that's the way I hear it.
Oh, for
Uh,
sure, for sure. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but yeah, it is a little bit of a change in the record. But man, we've been rocking pretty hard until this. So
Right,
I look at it as just kind of like a nice welcome change. We don't have to rock out all the time.
right.
Shows a
It's
little
okay.
bit of what should we say? Shows a little bit of branching out, so to speak.
Yeah, a
So
little bit of a mood piece, a little
yeah.
moodier, which is cool. And they pull it off.
Hmm.
And then Ready on the Firing Line, we kind of go back to rocking again.
We're
Um,
rocking.
rocking back, we're back rocking again.
I
What do you
love
think
it.
of that track?
I freaking think it's phenomenal
Awesome.
because we are rocking. But the
Yes.
thing is, you might have one track. The thing about the sequencing, the way the songs are laid out, the sequencing's really good because all these songs kind of flow.
Right.
There's not really anything on this record that you listen to and you go, "Ooh, I want to skip that."
Right.
And
Right.
this just continues on. Yeah, we had a track that was not quite as intense. We're we brought the intensity up back on this next track. Uh, again, great rock goodness is what I'm going to say. So
Yeah,
I
no,
like it.
absolutely. And it kind of these last two tracks, I mean, it's interesting that I just know because I looked it up, but they do feel very Aerosmith-esque, especially these last two. And
Yeah.
Life at a Glance feels very like Aerosmith too. It feels very much like something that could have been on like Toys in the Attic or something, or you
Yeah.
know.
Well, and that is not, what does that say? If that song should have been in Toys in the Attic, then, that's pretty darn good.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Oh yeah.
I, I- and I want to say that when we're listening to the vocals, um, Ralph is a great singer. I'm not sure what I think he had some alcohol issues. I don't think that's why he's on the second record. Um, but I listen to Ralph, and there's not really a moment where I'm listening to the record going, wow, I wish Stephen Perry was singing on this.
Right. Right. No, I agree with you.
Stephen Perry. Steve Perry was singing on here.
Steve Perry.
Not one time did I think that Steve Perry should be singing on this.
Right, right. No, I'm with you. Steve, no, you don't, it's a different thing, right? He went
Right,
solo. It's a different thing, but it's got an Aerosmith feel, but it it's not a complete, I mean, it's a different band, right? And
right.
like you said, Ralph has got his kind of a soulful, raspy sort of voice that's really cool,
Yeah, it's good.
you know?
Um, but it just sounds like a hungry Aerosmith. It
Yeah,
just sounds like I
yes.
said, Joe just sounds like he's the burden is left, the weight is left his shoulder.
He's so happy.
He's
Yeah.
so happy. Let's
Yeah.
get the band in the studio. Let's crank out some good rock and roll and go for it. That's how I look for it.
Yeah,
That's how I
that's and
look at it.
it comes across on the album for sure. Like you
Mhm.
can feel it. Like he's a bird. Like you just put it perfectly. His burden is lifted. He just like, let me just plug in my guitar and play. I just want to play. Let's go. You
Mhm.
know. And
That's what I
he
love
just
about it.
boy he crank it out. And really the band is top notch. I mean he put together a great band as well.
Yep.
They really pull it off well. Um, so yeah, so there you go. I mean, I would say that we like this record.
Oh, I love it.
I
Well, I
would say
already
that
said that.
we love this album.
Uh,
It's quite good. Even the cover's great, where he's meeting with a bunch of executives. Um, he's got the
and it's
tape like on the boardroom table.
and it's funny. This only sold about 250,000 copies
It's kind of
in the
hard to believe.
US.
That's sort of hard to
This
believe.
was the most successful Joe Perry project album because
Okay.
the rest of the records really didn't do hardly anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, was that because Aerosmith had their moment in the sun? People didn't care about it so much anymore?
Yeah.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Could
And
it
you
be?
kind of wonder too how much was Columbia sold? Like they kind of said, okay, we'll give you your solo deal, we'll give you a 2 record deal or whatever. And they're like, okay, we'll see how it does. We'll promote it kind of a little bit and see how
Yeah,
it goes. You
I don't
know?
even remember any promotion, but it might have been promoted. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. But I do remember this album coming out. I remember seeing it like on the racks and stuff, but the second one I
Hmm.
didn't see at all. I mean, I think this like we're gonna head into the second one now, and I don't
Hmm.
remember seeing the second one around at all.
My buddy had it,
Okay.
but when I heard it, it didn't strike me like the debut. Now, there's a couple reasons why, but we can get into it.
Yeah.
We'll get into it. But it's a decent record. It's not anywhere near the first album, though.
Right. Well, see, I don't know. I honestly, to me, put it this way. For
Okay.
me, the second record grew in my estimation when I had to do my homework for this because I hadn't
Okay.
listened to it forever, and I was like, when I was doing listening to it for this, and I was like, man, there's some really bangers on this record. There's some good songs on this album. I mean,
Yeah, well, there is,
yeah,
but I just don't think it hits the heights that the previous record. I
yeah,
mean, Joe sounds good.
hmm
This record's not produced by Jack Douglas. This record's produced by
Bruce Botnick.
Bruce Botnick, who
Yeah,
did The
yeah,
Doors. He's done a lot of different bands. So Eddie Money, for crying out loud.
yeah.
Bruce is no slouch,
No,
and the production's a little bit different. I think it's a little. I don't want to use the word muddy. It's not muddy, and it's not really cluttered because you've basically got the same band. You've got a new singer, which would not affect it, but Bruce has a little bit different production, the way he produces a record, and
yeah,
it's. I don't think. And I don't know if they had more time to record this than they did this.
right.
And I think maybe this sounds the way it does because they just cranked it out real fast. This they might have worked on. I don't know. Do you have that info, Tom?
I do. I have
How long
some.
was
I have. Okay, I'll
what
do
was
my quick rundown again. So
yeah, do the quick rundown.
released April 81, so I mean pretty quick follow-up to this one.
Yeah.
In on Columbia again, produced as you said by Bruce Botnick, who's famous for The Doors and I forgot Eddie Money. That's a great one. Yeah, I forgot about that.
The first 80 Money album. I think he did did he do the second one? Can't remember. Maybe. I think so.
Yeah, what was the big hit on the first
2 Tickets to Paradise.
Tickets to Paradise? Yeah, and Shaken and did I don't know if he did that
Yeah, I
record.
don't think he did that.
Yeah.
That record was who did Layla? Oh God,
Oh, Tom Dowd.
that's Tom Dowd,
Yeah, okay. Got it. Got it.
I
So
think.
there you go.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I think
So
it's Tom Dowd.
So recorded at the Warehouse in Boston. I think the Warehouse was like the studio or the place where Aerosmith rehearsed, I think. With a record plant mobile studio. So it was kind of an interesting. It did recorded with a mobile. Um, they had, as you mentioned earlier, they had issues with Ralph Morman on tour with drinking. He would show up wasted.
Okay.
And Joe was like, I don't have time for this. I can't deal with, and it's funny coming from him. He's like, I can't do, he goes, as long as you can function, that's fine. But you show up not functional, I can't deal
Yeah.
with it.
I can't
So
blame him. I Tom, I can't blame him. He's probably fed up with it, you
yeah,
know?
yeah, he couldn't deal with it. So,
Yeah.
and he said because I was at this point, I was very serious about my solo career and I wanted to make it happen. So, he was replaced with Charlie, as you mentioned this too. He was replaced with Charlie Farren of a band called Balloon. It was they were another Boston-based band that apparently
Uh-huh.
was on the cusp of Ahmet Ertegun at Atlantic was sniffing around, like
Oh,
possibly going to sign them. Yeah, so he was on the, maybe that band could have gotten signed, possibly, but then Joe saw him play live or something and said, "That's my new singer." So Farron was a strong frontman and co-wrote several of the songs on this record. He also played rhythm guitar. Same rhythm section as the previous record.
mhm.
And I have, as a note at the bottom, I said, probably not promoted well by Columbia. This should have been bigger, in my opinion.
Well, I think it deserved a little bit more recognition. Um,
Yeah,
yeah, I don't remember any promotion for this at all,
no, no.
which
I
I'm
don't think it got
surprised.
much I think by this point they were like, okay, we did your album. Okay, we'll put this out, but now it's time to get back with Aerosmith.
Well, yeah,
But
because he put out the
that's all
third one.
speculation on my, that's speculation. So
Yeah. Well, he did the third one, and then Aerosmith got back together, and that was the end of it. So,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
but
So, but I really
anyway,
enjoyed this record. This was a dark horse album for me that I really enjoyed listening to. I think there's a couple of great East Coast, West Coast. I think is a really cool track. Love that. You know, Charlie Farron's a very different singer than Ralph, right? He's
he's
very
very
different.
different. I wouldn't. So I've talked to some people about it. Some people really aren't into Charlie Farron so much and
Right.
liked Ralph a lot better.
Hmm.
But me, when I listen to it, it's nitpicking.
Yeah.
Charlie's a fine singer. It's
Yeah.
hard to compare because, yeah, it's pretty much the same band, but a lot has changed over that short period of time. Um, but no, I don't have an issue with Charlie. I
Yeah.
don't.
Yeah. This feels more
Um,
like a pop rock record because that's kind of his, you know what I mean? Rather than like
yeah,
more bluesy rock where the previous record kind of they I
I
don't know.
think that's probably, yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah. But like No
Um,
Substitute for Arrogance, I think is a great, I love that track too. The first two tracks I like a lot.
oh, I think the first two tracks, phenomenal.
Yeah.
Um,
Um,
I am gonna have to put my
I
glasses
don't
on
have my
because,
CD. What's the next track?
okay, let me put my spectacles on. Okay, so the album opens up, of course, East Coast, West Coast, 3 minutes and 6 seconds. I think that what a strong opener. I think really, if you think about it, Tom, you end this record, you end with Life at a Glance, you pick right up with East Coast, West Coast,
Yeah.
not even blinking an eye.
It didn't, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I love that opening track, that in the East Coast and the West Coast. And I
Mhm.
just love that.
Yeah, it's funny, right before we got on, I was just listening to this whole thing again. No Substitute for Arrogance is the second track,
Yeah. Really like that. Really
which
like
is
that.
okay. Um, yeah, I don't, what did I write? East Coast, West Coast, very tour inspired track, capturing a band's road life. Yep, talking all about touring, which is cool. I wrote that down as a great one. I didn't really write anything about No Substitute for Arrogance. I think that song's all right. But the title track, now I've got the Rock and Rolls Again, which is
Ooh.
it starts out with just like a traditional kind of Chuck Berry riff.
Yes.
And I'm
Like it's
going,
gonna be a
what?
slow blues or something
It's
at
like,
first,
what?
right?
I mean, what for a moment I'm listening to it and I'm going, I'm not sure about that. But it's just kind of a standard Chuck Berry thing. And
Mhm.
then it transitions into a rock anthem.
Yeah. All of a sudden it
Uh,
goes 1, 2, 3, 4. Do. Yeah, yeah. It's like, yeah, it's great.
Joe Perry and Farron on here sound phenomenal.
Yeah, they
So,
do. They do.
so I'm not that crazy about the intro, but then once it just takes off, then I'm in.
Yeah.
I guess I like the way the intro goes. I guess it's kind of a salute to just
Yes.
good old rock and roll. I've
Right.
got the rock and rolls again.
And it's a
So
great like sudden about face when they just all of a sudden 1, 2, 3, 4, man, and you're like,
yeah, I
whoa,
like that.
it's so
Yeah,
cool.
I like that. That's good.
Yeah. So
Um,
I love the title track. I think it's great.
I think it's one of East Coast, West Coast. I've got the rock and rolls again. Phenomenal. Track
Yeah.
4 is Buzz Buzz, and this is where. Oh, well, what is your thoughts on Buzz Buzz before I tear into Buzz Buzz?
I'm not crazy about Buzz
I'm not
Buzz.
crazy, but
I don't
that
like it.
says that says filler to me.
Yeah, I don't like Buzz Buzz. It kind of gets annoying after a while. You're like, okay, I don't really like this song that much.
Yeah. It just says filler to me.
Yeah, yeah, I'm with you. I don't like it.
I
I think
want to,
it's a weak
but I
point
want
on
to
the record.
like it. I want to like it, Tom. I want to
Yeah,
like it.
yeah.
I don't really care for it.
And it makes it must be, well, it must be a cover version of something because it's got all these writers. It's got three writers on it. None of, well, no, wait, David Hall is in the band, right? Is that right? Wait.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
So,
yeah,
yeah.
David Hall's the bass player.
Yeah, so anyway, I don't like it. I just whatever. It's just not a very good song. Um
Yeah, it's filler. Soldier
yeah.
of Fortune, though, that's different.
Soldier of Fortune I like quite a bit.
Hmm.
I like Soldier of Fortune a
Yeah,
lot.
it shows more of that Joe's blues roots, I think. It's a little bit more laid back, kind of has that groove. A lot of Aerosmith stuff just had a groove to it.
Right.
And this is yet another groove type of song. I think it's one of the best songs on the record.
Yep.
Um, but let's see, what's
Second
next? TV Police.
TV Police. Start the second side, right? Side two.
Yeah. So
Uh
this sequence pretty good. I mean, at least you have Soldier of Fortune in the ending side one, so it makes you go, well, that was pretty good. Because
right.
Buzz Buzz,
Buzz
I
Buzz is
still put. I don't know about you, but I probably would have put Buzz Buzz later in the album on side two or something. But
yeah, like
whatever, it's
late in
fine.
the yeah, later in the album or something. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean,
Or leave it off.
or
Do
leave
something.
it off because you would have 9 songs. I
Right.
think if you left Buzz Buzz off, it would be a stronger album. But
Yeah.
anyway, Soldier of Fortune. Oh, I
Uh,
mean TV
or
Police.
TV Police. I like it. It gets a little repetitive, but it's a great riff. The riff is really cool.
Yeah, did I write anything about that? I
It's that
didn't.
whole at the end that the whole da 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 the TV police diddle do diddle do diddle do do. I mean, it's a cool riff. It gets repetitive though. I remember at the end, I'm like, okay, I get it. TV police, I get it. Like they say it like 10 million times at the end.
Yeah, maybe you could have edited that down a little bit. But
Yeah,
whatever. That's
yeah.
nitpicking.
It
We're
goes it goes it
nitpicking.
goes on a little long for 411. It could have been 3
It
minutes.
does.
Yeah.
My next favorite. See, that's not TV Plus is not one of my favorites. East Coast, West Coast. I've got the rock and rolls again, Soldier of Fortune, and yet another one. Listen to the rock.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
I like that.
Yeah, that's a winner. That's a winner.
That's a winner.
Yeah.
It's like we have a great song and one that's it's okay. Great song. It's like hit and miss. Where you, on this record, it's great, 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 great. So
Yes. Yes.
see, tells you where we're going.
Yep.
Did I write anything about Listen to the Rock? Let me see. No. I like,
It's a Charlie Farron song. He wrote
yeah,
it.
but I think it's okay. I think
Yeah.
it's good.
Yeah.
Um, Dirty Little Things is next, and I don't think I wrote anything about it.
Yeah, I like Dirty Little Things. It's
Yeah, I
actually
don't
got
have
kind of a
an
cool
issue
little
with it.
hook.
Hmm. Um, you know what? I was looking at my notes. I know we don't like the song Buzz Buzz.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it's okay, but that is a cover song by the band The Dirty Angels. I
See
had
there,
that written
okay,
in my
there it is.
notes.
There, yes, it was written by is a cover. Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
I mean, yeah, maybe that's why I don't like it. It just doesn't seem to fit.
No,
Evidently, they liked it though, but so that's fine. Um,
I agree. I agree. Um, but Dirty Little Things I think is a quite a good hook. I mean, it's not like amazing song, but I like the hook of it. I think it's a
mhm.
melodic hook.
Yeah, I think it's all right. Yeah, I
Um,
don't mind it. Play the Game is
play the
next.
play the game. What do you think of this one?
So, did I write anything about
It's
it? That would
okay.
tell you. That would tell you.
Yeah.
I didn't write anything about Play the Game. I don't know. I think
It's
it's
long.
not one
It's a
of my.
long
It's
track.
long, but
Yeah.
it doesn't really do anything for me. I
Yeah.
kind of look at it. The record's kind of petering out by this time.
Right. Right. Yep. And then it ends with South Station Blues,
And I
which
did write something about that because I do think that South Station Blues does end on a high note, as it
yes, it
should.
does. Yeah, it does. Yeah.
But Joe Perry is singing on this one.
Yes, right, right.
Uh,
Yeah. Which
blend
his
of blues
vocals
and
are like
rock.
okay. His vocals are average.
Yeah.
They're okay.
Um, and it really just, an ode to his Boston roots. But I think it ends the album on a high note. It
Yeah,
makes you long for the next record, which is really not a good record. But we
yeah.
don't know that yet.
Yeah, we
Um,
don't. Yeah, we're not talking about that one.
but yeah, I mean, if I was good, this is a must. Then
Right.
this. I
Yeah.
mean, this has some filler on it. This doesn't have any filler. So there you go.
It's a
That's
little, yeah, the second album is definitely a little spottier for sure. It's
little
not,
bit, little bit.
yeah. It's definitely, yeah, the first, but I would say that I was surprised at how much I liked some of the tracks on the second record as far as when I reminded myself, I was like, oh yeah, I love East Coast, West Coast, I think is a real killer. I think the
Yeah.
first side is really good except for Buzz Buzz.
Oh, I
Um,
agree
you
100%.
know, and then to your point, it kind of peters out as it goes. It
I,
definitely,
th- me, when I listen to it, it sounds like that they could have worked on the song some more.
right,
Um,
right.
maybe the record company said, "All right, Joe, well, let's get right back in there. We need another record?" Maybe
Hmm.
they weren't quite ready. I think that they did a good job for. I mean, it really. How long we in between these records? It wasn't that long.
Very fast. They made it really
Very
quick.
fast.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I think that maybe they were a bit rushed the way it sounds, but
Mhm.
still, there's enough. At least half of it, I highly recommend. Um, the
Yeah,
other, maybe you don't need it, like you need this.
right.
Um,
I would still recommend it though.
oh,
That's
I would recommend it, but
yeah.
start out with let the music do the talking and then go from there.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think too, you also said earlier, which I think was great. You said, he was kind of digging into his vault a little bit for the
I,
first record,
I think so.
and then maybe the vault was empty for the second for the second album, or
Well,
emptier. Uh,
totally 100% agree. I think
yeah,
that's the way I hear it.
yeah,
Um, and I don't know how much of this. I'm trying to look. Of course, this doesn't really give me any. This all this does is give me this picture of the band and
yeah,
some liner notes that
yeah.
really doesn't go into much detail
Right.
about songwriting.
They look pretty cool though. I like the photo. They look pretty cool,
That's good.
Yeah. Um,
But I do like Joe's guitar sound on here. I like it better on here. I think it's more, I think it's better recorded.
yeah.
But man, I can't get enough of just listening to Joe play.
I think Jack Douglas knew how to record him, right? I mean, he knew what to do.
But that was dead simple. And I don't know the
Yeah.
story behind Bruce Botnick. I mean, they were recording in the warehouse, which is basically a practice area, and
Kind
they
of
had
seems
the
like a live
remote.
stereo, yeah, live-ish feel, I guess,
I
with the
mean,
in the warehouse.
the other record, of course, was all done at the Hit Factory.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. I think that
I don't know.
it's possible to say that this has the first record has a better sound. I mean, I think that
Yeah, it's got better production, I
better
think.
production, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. I think the second album has kind of a live-ish, like you said, a live-ish feel, almost like the
Mhm.
recording on an empty stage or something.
Yeah,
Um, you know.
yeah,
Uh, but which is kind of cool. And again, I recommend both of these records, but I think it's pretty. I don't think we really have to go too far into like, well, which one's better? Because I think you guys know from watching the video, we're
mhm.
both going with the first album as the winner of this battle.
Hey,
But
it's my favorite Aerosmith album, Tom.
yeah, and you're not alone. There's a lot of people that say that's a lost Aerosmith record. Like if you're,
It could be.
it's a lost Aerosmith. I mean, it's very much like Aerosmith without Steven Tyler singing. That's kind of what it feels like, um, at times.
Yeah.
Um, and which is not that's great for me. I love Aerosmith, so I'm like, yeah, bring it on. Um, but if nothing else, it proved to Joe that he could do it on his own. He could go out and do it, which is pretty
Yeah.
cool. Pretty
So,
cool.
all right. So, do you on this show tells you what I know on
What's
about
that?
this I forget. Do we rate these out of 10? How do you usually wrap these up?
We don't always rate, but we could rate. Let's. I'm open. Let's rate them. What do you
What's
think?
you how do you want to it's always fun to rate.
Yeah,
Uh well, what scale do you want to use? One
let's
to
use
five or
let's use
10?
10. Let's use 10.
10? Okay.
Yeah.
if I was going to rate this album, now, is it a perfect record compared to other perfect albums? Well,
No,
no,
I wouldn't.
but I would give I can't give it a 10. I'd like to give it a 10.
Right.
I would give this record a solid 9.
Yeah, that's wow.
Me
Yeah,
personally, I
yeah.
would give this a 9.
Yep.
This record, not quite up to the heights. I would probably be really comfortable giving this. There's, half of it's really great. I'd probably give this a 7 out of 10, maybe a
Okay.
6.5.
Okay. Yeah,
It's,
like 7 if you're
I
generous.
think, no, I think I'd be comfortable, Tom, giving this a 7. I'm
Okay.
gonna go with a 7.
Okay. All right. So there you go. I'm going to go a notch down just, but still, I'm going to give it this could possibly be an 8.5.
Mhm.
8, but I'd probably go. I'm not gonna do halves. I'm gonna say it's an 8 out of 10, which is a very strong rating. I mean, that's just
Right.
still very, very strong. That means I highly recommend. So I'm going 8 out of 10 for this, and then I would say the next record is a 7 out of 10.
Okay. There
So
you
I'm
go.
slightly down from you, but not much. I still think they're both high. Like we said, they're both. I recommend both of them. So
Well, I think I was on a show, I don't know, maybe a year ago. We were talking about this record, and I said it's a 10, and everybody went, "What? What, Grant? What are you talking
what
about?"
was that? What
Well,
did you
I
say?
was in a good mood, and I really liked it that day, evidently. But I do really like it. I give it a 9 because I really
You just
could
love
take
it.
it to a desert. I do.
Yeah.
I could take it to a desert island with me.
Yeah, no, and I again, 8 out of 10, that's like a high rating for me. That's a high that's a it's you definitely like it's way better than if you haven't listened to this in a while to put it on and crank it up. It's like,
Mhm.
whoa, you forget how good both of these albums are actually.
Well, you've seen those albums that said "play it loud."
Yeah.
This record should have something on there that says "play me loud."
It should. It should, because I was actually working from home today, and I have this set up. This is my setup for my work
Mhm.
over there, but this is I listen to vinyl while I'm home.
Mhm.
And I did actually got a text from my wife at one point. Can you please turn the music down? Because I had this I had this album on at full, like, pretty high volume. She was like, could you turn it down a little bit? It's
I
funny.
mean, it just makes you want to rock.
Yeah, you can't help it. You have to turn it up. It's like,
Can't help it.
yeah,
Can't
you
help
can't
it.
help it. It's one of those kind of records. So, but so what do you guys think? I mean, you've heard our ratings, you've heard our what we think. What do you guys think? We want to know, but let us know in the comments. Um,
Mhm.
I always say, which one, do you like these records? Do you not like them? Do you think do you think that maybe somebody will say, oh, it's only I got the rock and rolls is much better. Who knows? Who knows? Everybody hears things differently, right? So
Yeah, it's true.
who knows? But we want to know. We inquiring minds want to know.
Hey, it's all about turning you on to stuff.
That's
So,
right.
I'll be checking the comments too, when this is posted. So I
Yeah,
always want to hear what people are saying.
yeah,
Are we
absolutely.
on? Are we spot on? Are we off? Leave a comment. So let us know what you think.
That's half the fun is reading the comments.
Hmm.
Um, so so yeah, and I'll also put links below to, of course, to Grant's channel, Grant's Rock Warehouse. And you need to go check that out because he's got so much great content on his channel. Check it
Thank you.
out. Go there. If you haven't, go there immediately. Just go to the link.
Go immediately.
Um,
Please subscribe. Hit that
Yes,
like button.
like and subscribe. So and like and subscribe here. I gotta always say that, right? If you're still with us, we appreciate you. You must be a big fan. Thank you. And always like and subscribe. Gotta say that and like and subscribe to Grant's channel as well. And that's I don't know. I don't know what else to say, right? What else is
I
there to
don't
say?
know, but it caused fireworks, so that's all I know.
Once the fireworks happen, I think it's over. I think we're done. So
See, it's
so
gonna. Oh,
oh, there we
there you
go.
go.
I can't do that.
There
I
you
wish
go.
I could do that. I can't do it.
Yeah, can't
I,
do it.
I need a new setting or something. But anyway, Grant, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me. It was a lot of fun.
Always a pleasure having you on the channel. So thank you so much. And that's it. That's it, folks. So we'll see you next time on Curless Mania. Take care.
So yeah, thank you.